South Sudan's first Vice President, Riek Machar, has been charged with murder, treason and crimes against humanity, among other things, sparking huge fears in a country still traumatised by civil war. Mr Riek was appointed to the role as part of a peace deal to end a conflict with President Salva Kiir that killed an estimated 400,000 people. Mr Riek was put under house arrest in March. Now he and 7 others, including the oil minister and the army deputy chief of staff, have been charged. The Justice Minister, Joseph Kengakech, said the charges relate to an attack in March by the White Army, a militia allegedly linked to the Vice President. Well, we're joined now by the acting chairman of Riek Machar's SPLM-IO party, Nathaniel Oyet, who is currently outside South Sudan. Welcome to the programme. Your reaction then to these latest developments?
Well, our reaction is very clear. We have seen this coming. It is not a surprise to us. Since the president violated the terms of the peace agreement and arrested a signatory to the peace agreement, this is a slap on the face of the guarantors of the revitalized peace agreement. And it is a very big blow to the peace process in the Republic of South Sudan.
Yeah, it's been reported too that Mr Machar and also the oil minister, perhaps others, have been suspended from their roles as well. That role of first vice president, as I said, coming out of the peace agreement. Is that something you can confirm?
That suspension is invalid. Everybody who is appointed according to the terms of the peace agreement is appointed because the parties to the agreement have agreed to share power and to work together in a unity government. President Salva Kiir was agreed to be the president of the republic and deputized by Machar. He cannot suspend Dr. Machar from the government. Any attempt to do so, the president also suspends himself.
The charges against Riek Machar and his key allies, both political and military, are very serious ones, linked to an attack on the town of Nasir a few months ago. He is not here, obviously, to defend himself, but how do you react to those charges?
Well, all these are logical violations of the peace agreement. The peace agreement has its own mechanism of resolving disputes. Should there be any problem in the course of implementation? The incident in Nasir is to do with the violation of the terms of the permanent ceasefire. If there is anything, it has to be investigated within the framework of the peace agreement. There is RJMEC that is monitoring the agreement. There is also ceasefire monitoring mechanism. If SPLMIG or the incumbent Tigonu had any query, they should have raised it to the rightful body. But we are not surprised, as I said, these are charges of dictators around the world.
But that is not the same, what you just said, as denying any involvement of Riek Machar and the others with what was a very deadly incident in Nasir that resulted in the death of many South Sudanese soldiers, even a UN staff member too.
Well, the confrontation in Nasir was between the White Army that had their own grievances against the forces loyal to Salva Kiir that were deployed there over the years, within the 7 years of the implementation. So we see no reason why the SPLMIG or President Salva Kiir should drag the first vice president in this conflict, which occurred between them and the White Army.
But Riek Machar historically had very strong links with the White Army. The White Army fought on his side during the civil war from 2013 onwards. So it might be logical to assume that those connections continue.
You know, in 2013, when the crisis started, Riek Machar was targeted and he fled his house with his family. And while behind in 2013 in Juba, the members of his community were also targeted. So their relatives in their constituencies, in the 16 counties of the Nuer inhabited counties.
The Nuer ethnic group that Riek Machar belongs to, yeah.
Yeah. the relatives of the victims reacted. So they met in the bush with Dr. Riek, and they decided that they would defend themselves. So the situation in Nasir was a continuation of what happened in 2013 when the regime decided to target a particular group, the Nuer-speaking group, where Machar comes from.
What happens now, do you think? Riek Machar presumably will go to court. What happens to him? What happens to the peace process?
Well, this is a witch hunt. We believe that the president is determined to abrogate the agreement completely, to slap the faces of the grantors, and to charge the first vice president. And once that happens, it will be a very big blow to the peace agreement. And also, nobody will trust the president anymore. We don't see any possibility of future dialogue with the president if he can abrogate an agreement after 7 years of its implementation.
But isn't it true that your forces, SPLM-IO, in essence lost the civil war in South Sudan? You're not militarily in a position to respond. So you may talk, you may rail against the government, but there's not much more you can do than that, is there?
We have been defending ourselves. Our forces are intact, and we do not want to drag the country to war. But should anybody look for such scenario, we are ready to go with them extra mile.
You talk then of this crisis in the peace process in South Sudan. Who do you think is capable of resolving it? We've seen in the past South Sudanese initiatives led by church leaders, for example. We've seen international interventions. Who is best placed to come to the aid of the South Sudanese at this moment?
We now don't believe in local initiative because Salva Kiir is not a person that can be held accountable. He cannot be held accountable nationally or locally, neither even regionally. We have seen IGAD trying and failing. The African Union also trying and failing. We want a robust international intervention in the Republic of South Sudan to save the country from collapse.
Nathaniel Oyet, the acting chairman of Riek Machar's SPLM-IO party, thank you very much indeed for giving us your perspective. We did send a message to Michael Makweleth, the government spokesperson for South Sudan. We have not asking for an interview. We have not yet got a response, but we will, of course, bring it to you if we get it.